So it's finally time. We're going to be checking out Maison Alhambra Leyden. Yes, Leyden. I'm pretty sure you have a good idea of what this one is going after here. Maison Alhambra is a clone brand, of course, and Maison Alhambra is a little subsidiary of Lattafa. Same exact company here, and that's evident by looking at the bottom of the box where it says LattafaPerfumes.com. So that's one of their little offset brands here, and that's pretty common with the clone brands here as of late. And so we're going to go through this one today. I'm going to tell you, well, obviously, how it smells. I'm sure you figured that out by now, but more so how close it is to the original, if I think it's going to be worth picking up, and just kind of the whole idea behind grabbing this one versus maybe some of the other clones. So let's get it kicked off here. Obviously, it's a Parfums de Marly Layton clone. Very evident by the name, first and foremost, but also the color of the bottle a little bit and just the general styling. They're kind of going after the Layton, or more so just the Parfums de Marly bottle style, more so than some of the other clones out there like Alhambra Detour Noir or Amber Oud Exclusive Blue, things like that. And that's pretty common of Maison Alhambra and or Lattafa. They have been pretty adventurous with their presentations lately, and they've really been kind of not only cloning the scent, but also trying to get pretty close to the bottle and presentation as well. And it's no exception here. So, you know, it's pretty standard. You kind of would expect this to be a Layton clone, and it is. So we'll dive right into that. How close is it to Layton? It's very close. Now, when you first spray this one on, no surprise, you get hit with a really nice apple cinnamon sweet combo immediately. As soon as you first get this one on skin, you get that. It's sweet, it's addicting, it's sexy, it smells amazing. Now, one thing that I've noticed about Leyden over something like actual Layton by Parfums de Marly, and also compared to some of the other clones as well, is this one kind of goes heavier in the vanilla direction, and that is evident pretty early on when you wear this one. So, you know, you get hit with that kind of apple cinnamon sweet opening, and I would say within a couple of minutes the vanilla really starts to come through a lot more to me than it does in some of the others, including the Real Deal. So I guess in one way or another you could kind of view this one as a more vanilla heavy version of Parfums de Marly Layton. If you kind of wanted to, you know, look at it that way, I would say that's a pretty accurate representation of this, which I don't mind at all. And one thing that I do have to give credit where credit is due, and really have to kind of just, you know, give them a round of applause for this, is it does have that very strange but yet accurate minty kind of menthol smell off the top. Now, that is a very common smell from Layton, you know, and that's one of the things that really makes it stand out. It's kind of bizarre. It doesn't really fit in a lot of times, and that's one of the things that I noticed when I first got my bottle of Layton and I smelled it, is yeah, you're getting all of the sweet notes and things like that, and some of the apple. But there's this interesting, cooling, minty undertone that you more or less feel rather than smell. Like you can actually feel it in your nose, kind of cooling. And they have that here in Leyden. Now, you get a little bit of that in Detour Noir. You get a little bit of that in Amber Oud Exclusive Blue. But by far in this version here, Leyden by Lattafa is the most prominent. And I would even go as far as to say that particular type of smell is ramped up even more in this compared to actual Layton itself. So that's one of those interesting things where, again, the vanilla is increased here in this, and also that interesting cooling effect is increased in this as well. So if you are someone who likes those certain attributes about Layton and you want those to be increased and focused on more, then you would probably really like this clone. But aside from those couple call outs there, it still very much is incredibly close to Layton. And again, you know, when you smell this for the first time, you know exactly what they're going after. Even if it was blind, you didn't see the bottle and you weren't influenced by the name, if you have any sort of experience with Layton or Layton smelling scents, you would know exactly what this is. And so that kind of begs the question, who should pick this up? You know, again, there have been a couple heavily hyped Layton clones out there already. I've talked about a few of them. Detour Noir, fantastic $30 Layton clone. That one is going to be one of the more well-rounded ones at a low price. Amber Oud Exclusive Blue is a little bit more than double the price of Detour Noir. You know, it goes for $65, maybe closer to $70. The bottle size is a little bit smaller as well, so the price per mil is higher. It's more expensive, Amber Oud Exclusive Blue is. And so with that, you do get really good quality. It does rival some pretty high-end designer scents in my opinion in terms of quality. You know, it smells high-end, it smells expensive, it doesn't smell or kind of give off the impression of a cheap clone. Not to say that Detour Noir does either, it doesn't, but it just really kind of hones in on the wearing experience and quality aspect. And so if you have a little bit more money to spend but yet you still want to save a lot of money, that would be the way to go. Now, one thing that you could argue with both of those options is the bottle presentation itself doesn't get you anywhere near Layton, and that's 100% a fact. I think we can all agree on that. And also, you could probably say that those bottles do have a little bit of the clone look to them, especially Detour Noir. So when it comes to bottle presentations like that, they generally don't fit in very well with a lot of your other bottles, and so from a display aspect, you might kind of tuck them towards the back. Now, this is superficial. For a lot of people, it doesn't matter, but I also have to cater to the people that does. And so I would say if presentation is something that you are prioritizing, then you might want to check out Leyden. Because look, aside from the vanilla being more prominent and that kind of cooling aspect being highlighted here in this one, those two things, it still very much is Layton from opening to dry down. And so at that point, if you get past those things, it becomes a matter of presentation and maybe brand. Which clone brand do you like the best and which one do you want to support the most? That's really what it is. Now, this one is an eau de parfum concentration, and on my skin, it's been doing very well. 8-9 hours longevity, which is great. Projection has been pretty solid, really pushes out a good amount. It's not a complete room filler, but it does get the job done, and it offers plenty of projection across the board. And so performance there really isn't a huge deciding factor either. Detour Noir is in that same vein. An Amber Oud Exclusive Blue is a little bit stronger, but at that point, with that one, you would be paying essentially a little bit more than double the price for maybe a couple extra hours, which when you kind of factor in some math, that might not make a whole lot of sense for a lot of people. And so again, at that point, it just comes down to what do you prioritize the most? If you're going to look for quality, first and foremost, go for Amber Oud Exclusive Blue easily, hands down. Does come at a cost. If you're going to be looking for all around the most well-rounded Layton clone that's affordable, but you're not really taking presentation into consideration, then Detour Noir would be a great choice. But if you're wanting kind of great presentation, you want solid quality for the price, great performance for the price, then Leyden would be an option for you. You just kind of have to choose for yourself. You know, maybe also if you want increased vanilla and more of that menthol smell, then go for Leyden as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Again, there's a lot of clones on this one now. It seems like they're popping up all over the place, kind of similar to the whole Creed Aventus clone thing. And there's more out there as well of this style. I just haven't covered them all. But again, you just kind of have to choose what's best for you. And each does provide their own little unique aspect. I will drop a link to this one down below for you if it's in stock. If not, you might have to wait around for it. I'll drop links to the other clones that I talked about. And if you want to be notified of any future fragrance deals or sales, if you hit the first link down below and sign up to my mailing list, you can get on the notification list there. You can also get on my texting list as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.